welcome to a new vlog and video of the cruise vibes, and today we are going to take a look at the third and fourth day of our cruise with the Riverside Mozart. The last 2 days on board, and we will be in Krems and Vienna in Austria. And here on the map you can see our approximate route today. We're starting very early in the morning as I made my ship tour that you have hopefully already seen. And once I finished that, we were close to the city of Melk. In the background you can see Melk, and here we can see the castle Schönbühl. Melk and Schönbühl are also the entrance to the Wachau, one of the most beautiful parts of the Danube. And we're now sailing through this wonderful part during breakfast. Also, breakfast was amazing. Again, I think you can clearly see that the quality of products is higher than on other ships. It is a proper luxurious breakfast, whilst I could enjoy the wonderful view of the Wachau and also of course of oncoming ships. Unfortunately, there was no more snow when we were sailing through the Wachau. A few days earlier there was a lot of snow, but unfortunately we were a bit late, so it was kind of grey and not very beautiful. But I think you can imagine how nice this area looks in summer or spring. Here we have the Devil's Wall, in German Teufelsmauer, with the shortest railway tunnel of Austria. And soon after we are sailing past the city of Spitz with a castle Hinterhaus, another castle in the city center, and a beautiful church. Shortly after that we are passing the very small village of St. Michael with a very impressive church right next to the riverbank. And then I went to the spa area. It was empty again, so I could enjoy the amazing view from the front window here for a couple of minutes until we passed the city of Weißenkirchen. And soon after, it was time to sail past the main highlight of the Wachau. To watch that, I went to the promenade, where you have a fantastic view to all sides of the ship, as it is a walk-around promenade. And the highlight of the Wachau is of course the city of Dürnstein. Dürnstein is a rather small city, but it has a big castle above it, very impressive rocks around the city, and it is mainly famous for the very famous monastery and the church, the Blue Church of Dürnstein. And here this wonderful and impressive city comes inside. We are sailing past Dürnstein, docking in Krems, which is the next city. There are also docking locations in Dürnstein, but there's not as much to do as in Krems. Krems is also very beautiful, as we will see later on, and it gives us the opportunity to enjoy sailing past this wonderful city and enjoy this fantastic view. Here we can impressively see the castle in the background and the blue tower in front. Then it was just a few minutes until we reached Krems. There we sailed past our docking location until we reached the turning point, and then we sailed back to our docking location, where we will spend the rest of the day till the evening. Here we are already past the docking location, and then it was time to turn and dock, and then it was a walk of about 1.5 kilometers or 20 minutes into the city center of Krems. You can also visit the smaller city of Stein, which is right next to the docking location, or of course you can also order a taxi with a reception. Here you can see our ship docked in Krems, and now it was time to explore a bit of the city. So it was, as I said, a walk of about 20 minutes into the city center. First you're walking on the side of the Danube, and then you're just walking past the main street. So it's not a very nice walk, but it's still quite easily done, and otherwise you can, as I said, always order a taxi. The city of Krems itself is very beautiful, and once you've reached this park, you're almost there, and it is getting more and more beautiful until you reach the so-called Steiner Tor, which is the entrance into the city. And as you can see, the city itself is very beautiful. There are a lot of shops and cafes. A Christmas market was there as well, so it is absolutely worth a visit. There's also quite an impressive church, which is called Stadtpfarrkirche St. Veit, with a very impressive interior. Most churches in Austria do have a very impressive interior, so it's always worth to visit them for the architecture. So that's a recommendation to visit churches when you're in Austria or also southern Germany, because most of them are looking like this. So this is quite an impressive sight. And after that it was slowly time to head back to the ship for lunch. It took a bit longer as there was a very strong wind on that day. We had to walk against the wind, but still here we are at our Riverside Mozart on time for lunch, which was again in the blue restaurant at the aft of the ship, and that was the next destination for us. This time there was another nice local soup, and I went for the pasta dish again, as it was very nice yesterday and also today. It was very good. And after that I left the ship on my own again to discover another railway line, and that will be the topic of the next video. So here we can see our wonderful ship, but as you can see now it is already dark because I skipped the whole train ride, and that will be, as I said, a topic of an own video, next upcoming video. And after that I went back to the Riverside Mozart for the highlight of the day, and that was the dinner again. And here you can see also the presentation was very nice again, but also that was done with a reason, because it was a smoked dish and you could really taste the smoke, and also everything else on the menu was again extremely nice and tasty. The main course was schnitzel, typical schnitzel, but that was one of the best schnitzels I've ever had anywhere. And then of course we went back to the panoramic lounge for the last nice evening on board, and soon after we set sail heading for Vienna, the end of our cruise, which will be tomorrow. This time we chose a different place in the lounge, as there were a lot of spaces available, obviously, if there are only 30 guests on board, and that's why we didn't sit right next to the window to try other seats. And the crew was preparing another nice individual cocktail for me, and whilst we were sailing there was a big thunderstorm, so that was also quite impressive to see the lightning from the lounge. Weather was pretty bad on that day, pretty windy and stormy, but still we were sailing safely to Vienna. Here we are getting into another lock, and then it was time for me to go to sleep after I watched the ship going into the lock. Then I went to sleep, as we had to wake up a bit early on the next day, as we had unfortunately to leave the ship, but not before having yet another amazing breakfast on board, with this fantastic view and of course a nice cup of coffee. And once again you can see how high the quality of the breakfast is. In my opinion, breakfast is always the same on most ships and hotels, so it was very nice to have a different breakfast here on the Riverside Mozart, because they were offering much more. And then the ship was fueled up for the next cruise, and I received this wonderful letter in my cabin, and then it was time to say goodbye to the ship. And what was quite interesting was that we were docked next to the Arma Magna, which is now the biggest ship on the Danube, whilst the Riverside Mozart is now only the second biggest ship, and both of them were docked next to each other, so I had a chance to visit the other ship as well, just walking through the atrium of course, but still that was quite nice and interesting. And then we were picked up by another private transfer and brought to the main station of Vienna. Of course, you can go wherever you want with that transfer. They will also bring you to the airport or any other station. So just after booking you have to let them know where you want to go and at what time, and they will organize the transfer for you. In our case it was the main station in Vienna, and here we will continue in an upcoming video. And that's it for my wonderful cruise on this impressive ship, the Riverside Mozart of Riverside Cruises. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you have a chance to travel on this ship, I can highly recommend it. This was by far the best cruise I've ever experienced. So fantastic ship, fantastic crew. It's worth paying a bit more for this fantastic ship and service. And that's it for this video. Hope you enjoyed it. Here you can see when the next video will be uploaded and the name of the song. So I always like to say thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please consider to comment, like, subscribe or share the video link, and I hope to see you in my next video.